Oftentimes on the ALS forum or other forums, I will see questions regarding how do you have your caregiver get notified when the patient within the house needs their attention. So here's one solution that can be actually the foundation for many variations of what kind of solution is needed. So it's Adaptive Tech Solutions. It's the call attendant. This is a transmitter. So if someone is able to push the button, then these two receivers will notify the caregiver. This one plugs in a wall, so this is in a fixed location. This one you put on your belt and walk around with you, and that becomes a portable solution. Both of these will be activated when that button is pressed. This wire is optional, but as you'll see, it will be an important option to include so that other variations of this solution can take place. And I'm going to pause for a second. So here's why this wire is important. If the person can no longer press the button, then having a small relay box that is connected will give the same results. In other words, when this relay box, which is configured to close the contacts when power is applied, that is the equivalent of pressing this button. And so we could have an Amazon smart plug control when that relay box is turned on. And so then you could have an Amazon Echo Dot where you give a voice command. You could have the Amazon smart plug controlled by a routine, which turns on for 5 seconds and then turns back off. And in turn, what that does is it energizes this relay, contacts close, and the bottom line is the same as if someone pressed this button for 5 seconds. And so that's why this optional wire can be a benefit, because for future expansion of the solution, it can go from, okay, today I can press, maybe tomorrow I have voice, but I cannot press. So now you've got a way of controlling this by voice. And then I'm going to pause and I'm going to switch to yet another variation. Okay, now let's say that voice control is no longer an option. We're going to get rid of the Echo Dot. We're going to get rid of the Amazon smart plug. And we're going to bring in a different kind of smart plug called the Shelly plug. And the benefit of the Shelly plug is it doesn't require voice activation. It doesn't require Alexa at all, which means it's a product that can probably be used in the hospital. I mean, it's accepted, at least in the places we've tried it. It's a Wi-Fi device. So in a similar way, when this Shelly plug is turned on, it's the equivalent of someone pressing the button. This would be controlled through a Tobii device or Tobii-like device, where a programmed button is set up to activate that Shelly plug for whatever duration you want, and these receivers will in return respond by emitting a sound of some sort. And so the benefit of, again, this wire and the Shelly plug is that you can actually disconnect this, and we have some conversion cables that would take this 1/8-inch male plug and convert it to a 1/4-inch male plug, which is what the standard nurse call cord is in most hospitals. And so it's very likely someone that uses a Tobii and this setup with a special cable could take this with them to the hospital They wouldn't use these, but they would need the relay box, the Shelly plug, and then an adapter cable to allow them to call the nurse within the hospital. Alexa is not allowed in the hospital for privacy reasons. There's no reason this shouldn't be allowed. This, just to get a little more technical here, the IP address of this by default is a standard gateway address of 192.168.33.1, which is not dependent on anything in a hospital at all. So this is its own gateway, if you will, where the Tobii is connecting directly to this. And for that reason, it may be necessary to add a second Wi-Fi adapter to the Tobii, because it will, whatever Wi-Fi adapter that's connected to this will not connect to anything else. And it's very easy to add a second USB Wi-Fi adapter so that you can continue to use your Tobii for reading email and such with one Wi-Fi adapter, but then the Wi-Fi adapter that's dedicated to this will be a separate one, and that whole setup works very well.